Hello. So I want to talk about like the greatest lie ever told, I believe, in my lifetime. In this particular lifetime anyway. And it's the fact that black people are innocent, or brown people are innocent. And what I mean by that is I know that brown people have their faults. So I'm not talking about individual flaws. I'm not talking about how, I guess so-called brown people can be racist too, or with the stuff that happened online and all the music. And I'm not necessarily talking about what we see in the physical. I'm saying the greatest lie spiritually. Black people are extremely evil. There's a lot of counterfeit brown people too. There was a saying, and I'm not going to say whether it's true or not, because that's really up to a person's own discernment. But a lot of people like to talk about, especially brown people, like to talk about how evil the so-called white man is. But there used to be talks about how the white man was created. And, there's also a lot of talkings that the brown male created the white man. Now, if that's true, what I do believe is that not every brown person that you see, brown male or brown woman, is responsible for the creation of that particular group of people or that particular person. But what I'm saying is that if people want to call the so-called white man evil, then the one who created the white man is even more evil. Okay? There's a lot that I would say we don't know, because I'm still learning more and more. When I see pictures of black people in this narrative of suffering, what if the narrative of suffering actually was the black man's idea? And when I say the black man, I mean I said that just not too long ago. I'm not talking about every single black man or black woman you see. But what if the narrative of suffering was the black man's idea? And black women who go along with it, so-called black women who go along with it. And I'm saying black in this case. I'm not, because in this case, I think that could have been a choice, and so I'm going to call them black. And I don't call myself that because I don't really have anything to do with that. This is a different group of people. We're not all the same. So I'm going to call them black. I was just scrolling through, just scrolling through YouTube, and I see these faces, these black faces, acting like they're getting so close to freedom, acting like they're so oppressed, acting like the suffering and our black voices and all this whatever, this narrative that keeps going on with black people. I'm calling them black. I'm calling them black because they choose to be black. So I'm going to call them black because they're not me. I call myself a brown woman, or whatever. Okay? Because truth be told, we're souls, so we're not really a real person anyway. But some of us are souls. I just look at the lies when I see these images of black people. And just the narratives of the suffering, the brutality, the voices, our voices, and the narratives that constantly go on, and you see the pictures and the narratives that go along with it, like somebody's just holding them down so badly. What if this were black people's idea, specifically the black man, and the black woman goes along with it? Okay, because the black woman just goes along with it. people it's a lot of complaints about how the Bible was this current Bible, the King James, was a bunch of manuscripts that actually came from Egypt. But if you ever read the book Historical Origins of Christianity by Walter Williams, he talked about how the Coptic Egyptians actually invited what was it? I want to say it was Alexander the Great, the Greek or whatever. Into a lot of their mystery systems. They had private ways of worship. They had private ways of spiritual worship. And I'm talking about spiritual practice. And I'm talking about the Coptic Egyptians. And I believe it was Alexander, what he called it Alexander the Greek. Alexander the Greek. They didn't really know how to speak. According to him, they didn't even really know how to speak a real language. They didn't know how to speak. It was like they didn't know. So a lot of them were actually taught by those Coptic Egyptians that look like brown people or black people today. And Alexander the Greek and other ones like him was invited into those mystery spiritual systems or spiritual practices. And so Alexander the Greek learned their ways, and then he used it against them. In that book, Historical Origins of Christianity, Walter Williams talks about how it was the Coptic Egyptians that helped Alexander the Greek, or just that Caucasian race altogether, to come up with a savior, like the character Jesus. It was the Coptic Egyptians that helped them with that lie. And now you have black people today, or brown people today, because there's so many that's just unaware, that want to go around and complain about the white man is so evil. But if you really look at the historical origins of Christianity, you look at that book about the Sibyls, and you look at a lot of stuff, you're going to see that the white man, or whatever people want to call him, is who he is because of black people. Black people helped him. And now he done used that against. And I don't want to just say he. People like to talk about the white man, but he was born from a woman. Okay? People like to talk about the white man. They just want people to focus on the white man. Like he don't have a mother. Okay? I don't know. I've been noticing that throughout history. That it's a huge focus on the white man, but there's no focus on his mother. I've just been noticing that. But yeah, you look through all these books and talk about it. If you have a completely black, what they want to call a black planet, then how did it become colonized? How were they able to invade it? Because according to a lot of black scholars, they were ignorant. It was a lot they didn't know. So how were they able to colonize? How were they able to get into the heads of black people like that? See, it's a lot that are so-called black people that's supposed to be historians, that's supposed to be so researched and so scholarly. It's a lot they don't want to reveal about really black people. If it was a black planet, how were they able to invade it like that? How were they able to take it over like that? That's what's not being discussed. I hear these revolutionaries always talking about the white man and their voices and how the white man colonized and how they did this and that, and it's how they like to pillage their land and how they like to rape their lands and how they like to do all this stuff. How did he even get that powerful to be able to do that? Who gave him the power? Because it was a black planet. I'm trying to understand where his power came from, because it was a black planet. How did he get so much power? That's what these theologians, that's what these black scholars, these people that want to keep talking about the white man, that's the part they just don't want to discuss. If it was a black planet, how did he get his power? What did he do? Black people had their own superior spiritual practices, so how was he able to just get in like that? That's kind of a rhetorical question, because I know black people were divided. Black people, I'm talking about on the planet, were divided. And that's how he's able to stay strong, because of the division. So I know. But see, this is what black people don't want to discuss, because I'm just going to call them black. Because they want to stay black. They don't want to be free. This suffering, to me, I just come to the conclusion it's really a narrative that comes from them. They want to hold on to the narrative. The white man is not necessarily making them hold on to that narrative. They want to hold on to that narrative. They're evil. They started this. The white man is their fault. If it was a black planet, how did he get here? The white man is their fault. And I'm talking about the real ones involved, not everybody who has brown or black skin. I'm talking about the ones involved. And they want to create this narrative for everybody to go along with it. But you can't have a bunch of people with a real superior spiritual practice like that, and have some people that don't have no spiritual practice, no spirituality at all, just come and completely invade it like that. And now the whole narrative is everything is their fault. Who made him so powerful? Who did it? Okay? Somebody allowed it. Somebody made deals with him. Somebody sold out others that look like them. That is something that seems like these revolutionaries don't want to discuss. Because revolution, the real revolution starts with taking accountability. And these revolutionaries don't seem to want to take accountability. These so-called black messiahs don't seem to want to take accountability. They want to just keep pointing at another race of people. They don't want to take accountability. So how are they called a messiah? How are they revolutionaries if it don't start with the man in the mirror? If it don't start with the man in the mirror, how is there any revolutionaries? And I have not seen a revolutionary, no matter where he is, because usually it's the males that's televised. Right? It's revolutionaries that are female too, but the males get the most of attention because of the patriarchy. The males just get the most of their attention, and females work just as hard, but they don't get no attention. So I'm talking about the male revolutionaries. I have not yet heard a male revolutionary, since they don't want to get all the attention. I'm talking about worldwide. I have not yet heard them say that it's really their fault. It's their fault. I have not yet heard a revolutionary say it's their fault. They want to keep pointing at somebody else. Then you're not a real revolutionary until you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, I did this. And when I say I'm talking about as black people. And not me necessarily, because I don't call myself black, but I'm just saying. Until these revolutionaries can look in the mirror and say, I did it. And when I say I, they speak for the people. So they're talking about the people that they call themselves defending. If they can't do that, if they can't look at the man in the mirror, they're not a real revolutionary, because it starts with accountability. It starts with accountability. How did the royal family get in and get so much power? How were they able to do it? Oh, so they just want to say some reptilians came in and took over. That's the demonization of reptilians, too. The people need to stop talking about reptilians. It's all different kinds of reptilians. And are they really reptilians? Who started talking about reptilians? Was it David Icke? I think people just want to believe what comes from another group of folks. And these other group of people just want to put stuff all over media, and it's just believed. And now everybody's scared of a reptilian. The real reptilians were really known to be matriarchal, vegetarians, don't eat no children. They want to look at the royal family and think all reptilians are bad, because they don't know nothing about reptilians. They listen to some mess on YouTube. Okay? Who's really evil here? But anyway, that's just food for thought. I'll talk later.